Our third speaker is Ricardo Pisuto, works for Conagua, is a systems engineer with a master's in systems in England, from England, has been a professor in several subjects with systems planning and what have you. Right now, he works with transparency and innovation in Conagua, but the main thing that is that he's in charge of the National System on Information of Water, and all demands on information can be channeled directly to him. So that is the topic of our presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you on behalf of the General Director, Mr. Luege Tamargo, and our Subdirectorate for Programming, Mr. Velázquez Holguín. I thank you for this invitation to this seminar. Now, today I would like to present generally the National System on Information of Quantity, Quality, and Use of Water, better known as the National System for Water Information, that you have heard many times before, and that is also known as SINA, that has been created by the Commission. The items, the subject matters I would like to speak about are the backgrounds on the use of water in Mexico, recent backgrounds, basic components and the products of SINA, the agenda of the water 2030 and the information systems as a conclusion, and then at the end, the developments of SINA in order to clarify some doubts and questions that have been posed. As you know, in the national law for water established by the Commission for Water to integrate the national system and the information, use, and conservation of water. And likewise, in that law, we have the mandate that the planning and programming has to be supported by a network of information, that the information on water has to be integrated locally in order to reach a regional level and hence the national level, with the participation and the coordination of many agencies that are part of the National Commission for Water, with social participation, such as the basin councils. We have 26 of them, the 3 basin organisms, and at the national level with the main offices in the south side of the city. And in this slide, in regard to the slide, this national information system on water is developed with our hydraulic system to 2012, the national law on the federal and transparency, access to the information, and our institution. This is a legal framework. Where is this information on the water system is headed to? And a brief summary, I don't know if you can see this. The evolution of the information on the water systems since the last decade, since the Commission was created, has been a basic tool of the water policy. The information has become adapted to the decision-making processes and the planning at Conagua, and to have a project for the sustainability of the water systems. And it has been we have integrated environmental aspects that complete the social and economic information we have that have characterized the water policy in Mexico since the past century. In the technical context, in the first edition in 1999, that became the Statistics for Water in 2003. And this was tried ahead in the creation of an information system of water, and with the participation of different sectors of the Commission and different agencies for statistical and geographic information. Conagua is one of the institutions with the greatest historical backgrounds, and with the information from the federal government that is very important in the activities of many agencies in terms of industry, energy, energy, ecology, disaster prevention. And we created a theme group for water to analyze the interests of all the participants, and now it is of national interest. And for the governance of the water systems, tapping on the new ITs in order to enlarge the dissemination of information to the main actors in the management of water in the country, to promote a participation, active and coordinated participation from all the actors throughout the country. And it seems to me that this has been mentioned in all the different papers, but this is the information based on specific systems that support the operation of different technical areas and contexts of the Commission and other government entities that complete the economic, social, and environmental aspects of water in the country. So when we speak of SINA, we focus on highest levels of this information pyramid, because once we process the information, it acquires a value added for the decision-making processes, the planning, and the assessment of the water policy at a national and regional level. This information is very useful for all the participants, all those who manage water, especially for the four segments we have identified that display themselves as in layers. First, the decision makers that use the key indicators of the sector and identify the intervention areas, assess the results from the implemented water policy. The experts in planning in the central offices, as well as in the basin offices, with the researchers and the scholars. They use this information to carry out surveys and characterize projects, the budgets in the most critical areas. The next universe is the actors involved in the management of water, such as basin councils, irrigation districts. They use the information to have availability of the water resources in a specific basin. And lastly, and where we have focused our efforts on serving the citizenry who has shown a great interest in water topics, especially in regard to federal programs and services where they live. What are the main elements of SINA? Where they have made a compilation of different topics, and I'd like to explain them in detail to show exactly what SINA is about. In over 10 years with the gathering and processing of information of SINA through consultation and participation of the users of this information, we have improved the contents of SINA towards the greatest and most important topics, the geographical and socioeconomic context of water, where we characterize the use of drinking water and its relation to the population growth in the last decades. The current situation of the water resources, where we concentrate qualitative and quantitative components of the water cycle, the basic information to comprehend the issues that plague the water resources, and the main indicators on the consumption and use of water in different economic activities, the hydraulic infrastructure, information on the use, discharges of residual waters, and the situation against extreme hydrometeorological phenomena, the management of water, information on the legal, economic, and participative efforts that have been launched for the sustainable use of this resource, indicators on health and environment, information on interactions between the availability of water, health, vegetation, and the diversity of ecosystems in the country, technical and prospective information on the water that are important for the dissemination of future scenarios in regard to water, particularly in regard to those that have been stated in the 2030 agenda, the world indicators of water with information regarding the national topics compared to other indicators and world indicators. And all of this, and grosso modo, is incorporated in the National System for Water Information, and that is being developed currently at the regional level. And this has been implemented nationally. What products are currently available from SINA? Well, the products that have, from 1999 on, that have become the mandatory referral for experts, engineers, and students here in Mexico and the world. I'd like to tell you that Mexico has taken the leadership in Latin America in spite of many comments I have heard today. And like countries like Brazil, we launched a project with them, and we have realized it is so in the dissemination of statistics and geographical information in regard to their national water resources. In regard to the statistics, we have published since 1999 the stats of water in Mexico. And it's been translated into English for international dissemination with a DVD with all the information bases presented in the document. This information can be consulted through the internet in the portal of the Commission. Now, in regard to the cartography, it is published in a specific format, a bit larger, and the Atlas of Water in Mexico as of 2001. This publication focuses in the presentation many topics in regard to water in this country. In 2009, the digital visualizer for consultation. This can be directly consulted at the portal of the Commission. And we can also underscore the collaboration we've had with INEGI since 2008 for the integration of the environmental accounts of water published by INEGI under the guidelines of the United Nations to acquire gradually more importance in the design of public policies in the member countries. And lastly, SINA has contributed since its onset at gathering specific geographical and statistical information from different organizations at the three branches of government, researchers, and the citizenry at large. And as Dr. Gonzalez said, of course we need a different organization to meet the challenges. Information in the near future currently seen as we have viewed it in the past years. We have seen three main components: the interinstitutional groups with the participation of experts from different agencies and context of expertise who develop statistics and geographical information of water, updating of the relevant topics of SINA, integrated by different information gathered from the federal government, and an informatics platform with all the information that has been processed and that is being improved to increase its efficiency, and that has connectivity, accessibility, and that is easy to consult. And I'd like to talk about the groups for the development of information. These are collegiate groups for the development of information that have acquired great relevance in recent years through the experts in different institutions and agencies. We have been able to see how we can produce the information at the national level, such as Semarnat, INEGI, the National Institute of Ecology, CONAFOR, CONAP, SAGARPA, the Ministry for Health, IMTA, and UNAM, and other agencies that are linked to the resource, the Navy, CFE, and PEMEX. The Technical Specialized Commission that held the first meeting of the year yesterday, best known as CETAWA, is based on the law for in statistics and geographic information. This is a consultation agency that was created in 2009, and that is monitored by INEGI. We have launched many initiatives in this regard this year. We have an intense workload to carry out. And the CONAGUA created in 2005, forerunner of CETAWA, and then the consultation and evaluation bodies that were created as of the Agenda 2030 in 2010. And most particularly, we have promoted the development of information at the regional level with the important development in the implementation of investment projects to attain the objectives of the 2030 agenda. This slide, the main activities of SINA. Maybe some of you have questions. What is it they do at SINA? In order to achieve all this in a permanent manner, we carry out updating processes based on the systematization of the sources, production for the delivery to users, and the production of statistics and geographic information. We start with internal information. And the group of experts in CONAGUA prepares the data to be provided, and if there are differences, we will check it with the source. All the compilation of data is carried out with following all the quality standards, and we have all the statistics and geographical layers that can be consulted. This information is prepared and is published in the information systems that have been mentioned, and the statistics on water and data on water. So what are the determining points in fostering the information? Basically, three branches. Following the patterns and the consumption of the information, the situation of the water resources, the changes of the urban and rural populations. This has left us a limited and scanty capacity to look after all the information needs. The multiplication of institutions and organizations involved in the management of water, their expertise, because we need this information for our coordination. And there's a trend that we have perceived of greater awareness in the citizens in regard to the management of water, promoted by the ITs and by the actions implemented by the federal government in the realm of transparency. As a conclusion to this topic, I'd like to speak about the challenges we have observed from the trench of scene and the development of the information. First, the availability of the information. Second, the reliability of the primary data. That was a great challenge, because the use of the information for the decision-making processes depends on its reliability. The depth of the integration of the data, the information, to reach a very detailed scales in the integration of the data, the integration of the sources, and to try to interconnect with other agencies from CONAGUA to produce the information. The systematization of the information, we have to be systematic, as Dr. Kotler just mentioned it. And lastly, and the most important one, is the use of the information by the decision makers. We have to promote the use of this information. The water agenda has been an element that has triggered a movement in regard to this data with many initiatives. The initiative for the development of regional information systems, and along these lines, I urge you to review the water agenda. This is a very interesting, enlightening document. Well, this is a topic for an entire day, so please look it over in the CONAGUA page. In regard to the technological architecture, I know that this is an interesting topic here to see how this works, how SINA works, and I'll try to explain to you how it works. We have the sources, the federal agencies, federal systems, monitoring systems. This information is integrated through a platform that is currently being upgraded, which is a transformation envelope known as the ETL. This allows us to make a verification by the experts, which is loaded in a geographic database, and the database where the information is divided and broken down for their use. The automatized information that is kept in a data repository, which is a datamate, which is an intermediary repository. But the great difference this last year, and which is important, we have integrated an intelligent platform to use this information. And this allows us that from pre-designed consultation and customized consultations, we integrate the geographical repository. We create maps, tables, and punctual data. This platform can be delivered through PCs, emails, the Office platform, and mobile devices. This gives great versatility to SINA, and this year we will complete the platform, and this will help us clarify the doubts we have in regard to what we do. We need to have a flexible architecture that will give way to the needs of information the sector has. And as has been mentioned, what this does is to transfer the problem to the sources. This is where we have the greatest challenge, not in tapping on the technologies. We are already tackling that. Now, for instance, the monitoring meteorological network and hydrometric, this is where we have to focus and channel the greatest investment in the country for the decision-making processes. And this is the last one. The products we are currently developing is the management information system in collaboration with IMTA, strengthening the regional information systems that we're working with IMTA. And something interesting is that we will have in the platform the analytical processor online, because known as LAP, which is very useful for people designing the plans in the planning department.
And lastly, the exchange of information, that at recent tables we have received many proposals from INEGI, from Semarnat, from the public function, to integrate our platforms, exchange information, which I believe is the right path to keep the citizenry informed, the researchers at all the sectors. We are interested in their having this information. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Ricardo. Well, you have come to realize that to be the window of such an important department is quite dramatic. You need a process to examine in some way the vast load of information that exists and then try to satisfy the multiple and changing needs of the different users. It is very complicated, but somebody has to do it. Somebody has to tackle the